Hi, this is Barbie, and this is episode number 6 of the Real Talk podcast. Today, we're talking real talk about high vibes and getting into that high vibe state where things feel aligned and you know you're being guided or you're on the right path. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're happy. I feel like we're always chasing happy, but most days it's totally fine to just be aligned. Let me know what you think about that. Let's get started. I'm so glad you're here. You're listening to the Real Talk podcast, a place for you to come and learn things about the real stuff that you're going through. Not the bright, shiny stuff we see on everyone's feeds, but the gritty, messy parts in the middle that need to be heard to heal. You matter here, and you're not alone. I care about leveling up and helping you do the same. Whatever leveling up means to you, whether that's in business, performance, or parenting. Let's get started. Hi, this is Barbie, and this is the Real Talk podcast. Today, I want to talk about vibration. We hear about your vibration, raising your vibration. What is that? Energy and vibration aren't the same thing as feelings. This is the stuff that I've been learning a lot in the past couple years, and I want to share about that. You can have a high vibration and be in a high vibration state without necessarily being happy. I think a lot of the times we focus so much on chasing being happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy in my relationship. I'm not happy in my job. I'm not happy with my house. Whatever it is, all of those things don't have to exist for you to be in a high vibration state. And the high vibe days and those feelings are how we attract those desires into our life. Something that's very interesting to me that I've been learning about is neuroplasticity in the brain and how the brain doesn't necessarily understand the difference between reality and what you're imagining. I mean, how fascinating is that? So, in our regular lives, day to day, we go through all the normal steps. We get up, we do all the things, we do the chores, we take the dog out, take the kids to school, go to work, all the things. Some days aren't happy. We don't have to feel happy all the time. But we can choose to feel grateful, joyful, or be in a state of joy without necessarily being on cloud nine. Life doesn't have to be a roller coaster all the time. If we were always super happy and high on life, that would get exhausting. So, what the goal is, I find, is to have a slow, consistent, high vibration state. I'm by no means an expert on this. That's why it's good for me to talk about it with you, because I'm learning too. We can learn together. So, two things can coexist at the same time. You can be unhappy about something, let's say your job. Say you work in accounting, you've ended up in a job in accounts receivable, but your real wish in life was to be, let's say, a therapist. You've always been interested in psychology, and you really would love to be that person who can really help people dig into their problems. And you would feel really rewarded if you were in a position like that. Okay, you have to have your job right now. You need to pay your bills. It's a funny thing how the mortgage company expects to be paid and somebody needs to do that. I get all of those things. But you're in control of your feelings. You don't have to be happy about your job to choose to feel a different way about it when you're doing it. So let's just imagine for a sec that you were that therapist. Maybe you watch Suits, of course. If anybody knows me for more than 5 minutes, you know I'm absolutely obsessed with that show. And you love the therapist on there. You love her office. It's beautiful. If you do watch Suits, make sure you notice the big picture behind her desk. It's just amazing. So Harvey Specter, of course, has this therapist. And maybe you want to be her. That's a job where you think, hey, you know what? If I had that job, I would feel so happy and joyful and accomplished. You can choose to feel that way in your current circumstance. We always think that our circumstances control our feelings. But guess what? You're in charge of your feelings. You get to pick. So if you were that person, or if you were that stage in your career, or that's what you were going to do, you would get up and you would do what? You need to start doing that now. Then those things will manifest. 99% of the time, I guarantee that those things don't manifest exactly how you think that they're going to. That's something that's definitely happened in my life. Of course, things don't turn out the way that we want them to, and they don't come that easy. But you get what I mean. If you would get up early, read the paper, have a nice time to yourself, maybe go for a nice walk, if you were that person, you need to start doing it now. It's the old thing that you see all the time on Instagram. You can't say, I'll believe it when I see it. You'll see it when you believe it. You'll see it when you start doing those actions. So for me, I love this. I love podcasting. I love talking. I love speaking. So what would I do if I were doing that full time? That's what I try to do now. I get up, I brainstorm, I try to just be really excited and inspired about this stuff. Those feelings are the things that then translate into my job and you vibe higher during the day. Then more things that you want will be attracted to you. I hope that makes sense to you. It's kind of a tricky thing to explain in words. Once you have the feeling, you can kind of feel through it. And once you kind of get it, it's like, yeah, there it is. So you just kind of have to keep asking and keep listening. And just remember, you don't need to feel happy today to have a higher vibration. Things can just be not going your way. Everything doesn't go our way all the time. If it did, then life would be no fun, like our moms always told us. I get that. But what we can do is choose to feel a certain way. Another thing that I learned from Danielle Laporte, who I love and have followed since day one, when she was in a time in her life when there wasn't a lot of extra dollars, she would go down to the ritzy part of Vancouver in Yaletown and sit in the very expensive linen sofas. Sit there, feel how you would feel if you were a person that had that couch. What feelings does that bring up? It feels nice. It feels like you made it, or you're special, or you're valued. You can choose to carry that feeling everywhere you go for the next week. So that's all these tips and tricks and things that we learn from people who have done it ahead of us is what brings value to us when we're learning. Don't get stuck in a place of negativity all the time. Low vibration people are hard to be around. It's not necessarily people, like I said, who are happy-go-lucky all the time, who are the ones that you want to be around. You have those friends that you can vent and talk about things, and we can talk things out, and they're not always in a good mood. There's a very big difference between that and high vibration. So the people who you want to be around, who have that high vibe that make you feel better when you leave than when you came, that's what you want to be. That's how we manifest bigger things in our life. That doesn't mean money and it doesn't mean expensive things. It means feeling good. There's no point in having expensive things. You can have all the money in the world. If you don't feel good, is that really winning? So the goal of vibrating higher is to feel good, feel joy. That's what I want for you in your life. That's what I want for me in my life too. So we can learn together. So like I said, two things can coexist at once. You can be working on moving up or getting a different job, and you should. If you're not happy in a current position, fix it. Absolutely. But until then, you can be taking baby steps towards a higher vibration state where you feel joy every day. You control how you feel. You control what you do. A lot of times we can't control certain actions or things we have to do during the day, but you control how you go about it. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. These are things that I'm kind of working on day to day, and I'd love to hear about your thoughts and things you want to learn about. I want to have people on the podcast that are going to teach us certain things, tips and tricks. Gabby Bernstein is someone that I really follow and read her books, and if you're interested in learning how to vibe higher, she definitely is someone to follow. She talks about just reaching for the next best thing. So if you're having a really, really bad day, like one of those really bad ones. You can just reach for the next best feeling. That's something that I'd like to talk about more too. Sometimes, actually, a lot of the times, we have this all or nothing mentality. It all doesn't have to be good or all have to be bad. Certain parts can be okay, certain parts are good, and certain parts need improvement. That's okay too. You can just not love where you're at right now in certain areas in your life, but that doesn't mean everything's all bad. So if you can just reach for just the next best feeling, feel joy in a certain area, that energy is what manifests more of those joy feelings. And for 99% of us in our lives, there is something that you can be grateful for. Even if a lot of things aren't going well right now, and I get that a lot of times in life, in certain stages, divorces and kids growing up and moving out, there's a lot. It's overwhelming. But we can always just reach for the next best feeling and work on reaching just a little bit more. Those baby steps we can do. We can just do a little bit each day. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Make sure you comment and let me know what you want to talk about, because that's what we're doing here. Real talk about stuff that really matters. I'm so glad you came. Thank you for listening to the Real Talk podcast with Barbie. This is the place for you to come and learn things about the real stuff that we're all going through. Make sure you check out the show notes, links to social media, and information on any guests that we had on the show. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad you came.